The day's finally here. The day is finally here. I can't believe it. I can't believe my eyes. I can't believe what I heard on the Marquee Network today. Insane. Well, let's just get into it real quick. Let's just rip the band aid off. Craig Counsell grew a pair of balls. I said it. Craig Counsell grew a pair of balls, and quite frankly, I did not expect to see that today. Dansby Swanson is no longer batting fifth. He dropped him to the seventh hole while moving up PCA. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Great decision. Now, if he could only, lower him a little bit further, then I'd be happy. As a matter of fact, why don't we just get a brand new shortstop? Second thing that Craig Counsell decided to do, which kind of blew me away today, or excuse me, this is in yesterday's game. I didn't talk about it in my previous video, so I want to drop it today. He actually called out a player for failing at their job. If only he could do that more often and actually hold players accountable. For example, what Vidal Brujan did in the top of the freaking top of the 10th inning, right? I was at that game. You don't play back on your heels and wait for the ball to come to you when Trey Turner's running down the line. You charge that damn ball and you fire that at first base because that's your only opportunity to get it out. So hats off to you, Craig Counsell, for actually showing some signs of life. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's dive into it now. Welcome back to another episode of the Cubby Perspective. My name's Andrew, and I'm a podcast for the fans and by the fans, baby. Hey, so supposedly, May 5th at Wrigley Field, Chicago Cubs fans will be giving Dansby Swanson a standing ovation at his first plate appearance. Funny enough, I'm going to be at that game, and I can guarantee you I will not be standing for this guy or clapping for him. I will be doing the complete opposite, and that's booing him. Why should I have to beg someone who's making $177 million, who's supposedly one of the better shortstops in the league, to get a damn hit? And you want to know what's so aggravating about players like Jason Hayward and Dansby Swanson, right? The Cubs already don't like spending that much money, which is kind of ironic because they're, a top 5 market in all of baseball, and they, shit money, right? They piss money. That's what they do. But Jason Hayward and Dansby Swanson are the type of players that's going to ruin it for everybody else. Because you want to know what Tom Ricketts and Jed Hoyer and Jason McLeod and Carter Hawkins and all these guys are going to start saying? Oh, well, we tried giving out 2 massive contracts back-to-back in Hayward and Swanson. Look what that did for us. Nothing. So, hey, Kyle Tucker, chances are when you resign, you're going to be dog shit. And moving forward, people need to start actually, stop giving this guy so many excuses. I've seen so many excuses on social media, and it drives me up the wall. Hey, last year was Dansby Swanson. No one knew he had that core surgery, but now he's healthy, right? And then these guys said on freaking Instagram, maybe he's still somewhat recovering, getting acclimated towards after, that damn core surgery, and we have to give him more time. Enough's enough with the excuses. He's done. He's garbage. He's not getting better. This is year 3 of his 7-year contract. He's not getting better, so leave it the hell alone. And you guys know that every single time I drop a video, I got to do some sort of, Dansby Swanson segment. So that's just going to be a norm. But let's dive into the actual game now. Let's break down Shota Imanaga's pitching stat, what happened to him in the game. So stay tuned for that. Let's break down the offense, who did well, who did not do well, who primarily, carried us throughout the entire game. How did the bullpen do? Let's dive into it right now. Starting off with Shota Imanaga. Imanaga pitched 5 innings today, 3 strikeouts, 0 earned, 1.4 whip, no quality start. He did not get that 6 innings like we all desire out of a starting pitcher, but he would have. What happened with Shota Imanaga today are 2 things. Number 1, whoever is behind whoever is behind home plate, calling balls and strikes, you got to get a pair of glasses. Shota Imanaga was squeezed on about 5 or 6 pitches that could easily have been that should have easily been strikeouts, right? Those are picture perfect strikes and balls thrown down the plate, right? They hit the corner perfectly. That's why we paid Imanaga all the money that we paid him, is to make those pitches. And the fact that he didn't get those pitches today kind of drives me a little stir crazy, I'm not going to lie. But regardless, the Cubs are doing really well. They're going to win this ball game. Shota Imanaga pitched well. Unfortunately, though, he was, out of the game with some apparent leg injury. It could have been, I think it was his left leg. Could have been cramps. Could have been a hamstring injury, right? Hopefully not, because those tend to linger on and last a while. So hopefully just a cramp, and he just needs a few days start. Drink some Gatorade, maybe eat a damn banana or something. I don't know, a bag of chips, because that happened with Jason Hamill back in the day. Jason Hamill was suffering from cramps, right? And guess what Jason Hamill started doing? He started eating a bag of potato chips before every single game. I don't know why that helped him through cramps, but it did. So maybe Shota Imanaga needs to start eating some damn Doritos before the game. And maybe that'll help him out. But yeah, so leg injury, hopefully he's fine. Hopefully it's not injury or serious, because if it is serious, the Cubs are going to be in deep trouble, right? You don't just lose out on your 1 and 2 pitching, your 2 best pitchers on the pitching staff, and recover from that fine. The Cubs are going to have to pull some cards out of their buttocks if Imanaga is on the IL for and quite some time, right? That's going to have to be calling up Cade Horton. That's going to have to be going out there searching for another starting pitcher that can fill in for those spots until Imanaga comes back. So let's just wait and see and pray that he's okay. And right before we start the offense, yes, I know Dansby Swanson drew a walk and hit a homer today. I'm not going to really comment on that because it was in garbage time. Until Dansby Swanson starts hitting in the clutch and maybe start carrying us a few games, then maybe I'll start retracting some of my shit talking against him, kind of like how I did with Presley. I used to call Presley Palpitations Presley. I no longer call him that because he's been lights out, right? He actually got his stuff figured out pretty quickly. It only took him maybe like three or four appearances before he actually turned back into Ryan Presley. So, Dandy Swanson, not getting anything out of me this game, but I don't care about that homer. And the Cubs definitely were hitting the ball out of the ballpark today. Carson Kelly starting us off, and I believe the 3rd inning with the 2-run bomb off of Andrew Heaney. Followed that up with PCA the next inning with another 2-run bomb. Seiya Suzuki went yard in this game. So the Cubs overall had a great offensive day, and it's nice to see, the Cubs actually hit the ball, because our bats went quiet in that Phillies series, and I'm not sure why. But this is what the Cubs have to do. This is the Cubs have to beat up on bad teams. They really have to beat up on bad teams. Let me actually pull up this photo that I thought was kind of mind-boggling, and I mean like extremely mind-boggling today, right? So this photo that I'm looking at right here, it pretty much says it's a list of, all right, what teams have played teams over 500 ball, right? The Cubs are the only team in baseball that have, until today, the Cubs have versed, every single team they've versed has been over 500 ball. So they've been versing very competitive people who are doing really well this year. And then on the top of that list is the fraudulent New York Mets, who've had by far the easiest schedule. But I will give the Mets some credit here. The Mets are supposed to be a good team this year, and they are beating up on bad teams. But if you look at the Cubs record and the Mets record, and you look at the Cubs schedule compared to the Mets schedule, it's a night and day difference. And I'm taking the Chicago Cubs all damn day over the New York Mets. Until New York decides to actually play some decent teams, you're frauds. I'm sorry. And I have some good friends down in New York who are Mets fans, right? And shout out to you guys, because you guys are awesome. But the Mets have to play good teams eventually, I would imagine. I think they're actually going up against the Phillies today, so we'll just have to wait and see for that. This is currently being filled in the top of the 9th inning. So if If the score changes, I apologize. But as of right now, I'm just going to call it Cubs win 8-0 against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Cubs improve their record to 18-12 on the year, and they have 2 more games against the Pirates, which they should win. Paul Skeens is going in the last game of the series, but the Cubs should still have, they shouldn't have a problem keeping, that offense at bay and then getting to that bullpen later on in the game. So I expect a full-blown sweep of the Pirates in this series because you guys already know how I feel about the Pirates. They're just a pathetic team. Very pathetic team. But overall, great team win by the Cubs today. Like I said before, Seiya Suzuki with the 2-run homer, Carson Kelly, PCA, Kyle Tucker, great game today. Kyle Tucker has been very cold, but maybe this is the series where he kind of bumps out of that. And that's what I'm expecting because who wouldn't do good against the Pirates? Just want to take a second to give a shout out to Ian Happ. Ian Happ has been an absolute monster when it comes to playing in division. And that is just the reality of the situation. Everyone knows the type of player Ian Happ is. Very, hardworking, grit player, runs down that first baseline, really, has a competitive at-bat, plays really good defense and all that kind of stuff, right? But Ian Happ has been so good for the Cubs while playing in conference or in division, really, right? And here are some of Ian Happ's numbers throughout his career against the NL Central. And let me tell you, it's pretty crazy. I'm not lying. All right, so Ian Happ career stats versus NL Central teams. 439 games played, 277 batting average, 380 on base percentage, 546 slugging percentage, 88 homers, 259 RBIs. And that's against the Cardinals, the Brewers, the Pirates, and the Reds throughout his game. And Ian Happ just recently hit his 1,000 career game with the Chicago Cubs. So that dates back to 2017. That's pretty damn impressive. And just like how I stood up for Colin Ray, there you go, Ian. There you go, kid. Ian Happ, love you, man. Absolutely love you. I hope you're a Cub for life, and I hope you have a statue outside Wrigley someday. Don't pull a Rizzo and don't leave. Even though Rizzo got traded, he still had the opportunity to come back with the Cubs. And he chose to go to New York for less money than what the Cubs offered him. So don't be like that. Stay with the Cubbies for your entire career because we love you over here. Dansby Swanson, yeah, you can get the hell out of here, buddy. You get the hell out of here. So as always, keep the faith. Go Cubs. And I am the Cubby Perspective.